What is up, guys? Josh and Michael here from Mixing Mango. So today we have a Runescape EOC Saradomin Godwars guide. This is going to be aimed at solo and duos. You can use these techniques for bigger teams, but we find for the best splits and best results, solo and duo is probably the best way to go. I will quickly say before we get into it, any of the setups in the guide are pretty much the minimum we would recommend, so you can definitely use gear higher than what we've recommended, but I wouldn't use any gear lower unless you do want to go in a bigger team.
So this next slide is the Commander Ziliana slide. So yeah, this is basically just some facts about about Commander Ziliana, and yeah, let's get into it. So her life points are 50,000. Her max hit is 1,900. Her attack styles are melee and magic. Her weakness is water spells. Her drops are the Saradomin hilt, the Saradomin sword, the murmur, the hiss and the whisper, and the Armadillo crossbow. Now, many people ask the question, why is the Armadillo crossbow in there? It's basically because in the story goes, Commander Ziliana actually stole the Armadillo crossbow off the Kriara, or the Armadillo boss, and that is why it is part of her drops. So yeah.
Okay, so these are the basic requirements for Godwars and Saradomin. You will need 60 strength or 60 agility to enter Godwars, along with having completed the Troll Stronghold quest. For Saradomin, the requirement is 70 agility. So now on to the recommended levels.
Yeah, so this next slide is basically requirements that you'll need when you're going into Commander Ziliana. So if you are soloing, you're going to want to have 85 plus magic, 80 defense, 68 plus prayer for that war taunt, unicorn or anything higher, 95 prayer for soul split and turmoil, and 88 plus herblore if you have it. The herblore is only like an extra, but you really need the 95 prayer part because it's extremely important to have soul split and turmoil, otherwise you won't be able to heal enough and you will get pretty much wrecked. So then for the duo, you'll need 65 plus magic, 80 defense, 67 plus summoning, 70 prayer, and 88 plus herblore. Now the prayer for duo, you don't really need soul split, you can just heal off the regenerates because you do kill pretty fast, but it is nice to have the soul split so you can heal, so you don't have to eat or anything like that. And once again, the herblore is just an added part. So yeah, that is that for the requirements.
Now on to setups, and this is the magic version. This is probably the main one you would use to kill Saradomin, as her weakness is magic, so it is probably best to use this one if you're not experienced or you haven't got the melee gear that we recommend. So you want, for the helmet, Virtus or Ganodermic, body Virtus or Ganodermic, legs Virtus or Ganodermic, boots and gloves Virtus or Ganodermic. For the weapon, a Chaotic Staff, Armadillo Battle Staff, or Staff of Light will do. We personally use a Staff of Light, and that's completely fine, so that's a very good choice for a good price. Aura, I would use Penance or Vampirism. Auras aren't completely needed, so you can pick your own one if you have other preferences. As for cape, a skill cape is the best. There aren't really any other good magic capes, so you could just you don't really need a cape if you don't have a skill cape. Amulet, Saradomin's Hiss, Fury or Glory. I will just point out that if you do not have any Nex items or another Saradomin piece, you will need a Saradomin item to protect you. So we recommend using the Hiss because it's easy, it's the best amulet as well, so, and it's fairly cheap, so it's definitely worth using Saradomin's Hiss rather than taking up another space with a Saradomin item. So I would definitely recommend using the Hiss. As for ring, you want a Seer's ring or a Berserker ring or a Tokkul Zo, and ammo is a Zamrak arrow, as there are Zamorak minions in the Saradomin stronghold, so to be protected from those, you are going to need a Zamorak arrow.
Yes, so this next slide is the setup for the melee. So yeah, you're going to want to have the either these two armor sets. You're going to want to have full Torva or full Gano. So yeah, the helmet, the body, the legs, the boots and the gloves of either Torva or Ganodermic. This is basically because when you're meleeing and you're taking damage from magic, it is good to have Ganodermic defense. However, if you don't need, if you have Torva, that is better because of the great defense that it has, and also you're good attacking. Because obviously you're using a melee style, so it is better to use a melee armor. For your weapon, you're going to want to have Drygors. It's pretty impossible to do it with anything else. You could probably use a chaotic and a shield, but it's a lot harder. If you're dual Drygoring, you're going to get a quick kill, and it's going to be nice and easy. The aura you're going to want to need is Penance or Vampirism. Penance is really good because she does hit, but it gives you back your prayer, so that you don't have to bring as many prayer pots. And Vampirism is also good for healing your health. The cape you're going to want to have is the Tokar Cowl, the Fire Cape, or the Skill Cape, or the Obi Cape. Now, Obi Cape isn't a very good cape, so I don't recommend that, but any of the other three is fine. The amulet you're going to want to have is the Saradomin's Whisper, sorry about that, Fury or the Glory. And the ring is the Warrior Ring, Berserker Ring, Tokkul Zo. And you're always going to want to have the ammo Zamorak Arrow just for the kill count, because it includes Zamorak people inside the Saradomin area. So yeah, that is that slide.
Okay, so now onto inventory. So once you get the hang of doing Sara, you can kill it with no food. But at first you probably should take some food just to practice with. So this is sort of the basic invent. You're going to want prayer renewal flasks, prayer flask and super restores.
And yeah, and then you'll probably want the bunyip or unicorn pouches, which is healing aura scrolls if you've got the unicorn, and then obviously and summoning flasks. Also, you're going to want runes for high alchemy and the troll heme teleport method, which is 2 laws and 2 fire runes. You're also going to want a Vecna skull and runes for your magic spells, and also a one-click teleport just in case you do run out of food and you do need to get away quickly.
Yep, so now on the screen there's some pictures of the invent in-game of both magic and melee. They're pretty much the same invent. You can see sort of the quantities of everything you want to take. It really depends on how long you want the trip to be. So you can edit this slightly, you can bring more prayers or less pouches and that kind of thing.
Okay, so now guys, the next slide is about obtaining kill count. Now, this is not massively important, but to get the quickest kill count when using mage, the melee followers should be killed. Basically, this is just because they're the weakest to your magic and it is a lot easier. So these include the Knight of Saradomin and the Spiritual Warrior. Now, the Spiritual Warrior requires 68 Slayer, so be careful attacking him if you don't have that, because he will be persistent.
Yep, and then the other followers are harder to kill with mage, but it is still possible, but I'd rather, it's better to stick with the melee guys. But with Drygors you can kill any of the followers as long as you have the levels, because the accuracy is extremely high on Drygors. So you can kill Saradomin priests, the spiritual rangers, which require 63 Slayer, or the spiritual mages, which require 83 Slayer. And like Michael said, they will keep attacking even if you attack them, so you want to watch out for that. Okay, so now we have some clips here of us killing Saradomin. So we have a mage solo first, then a melee solo with Drygors, and then finally a mage duo. I sped up all the kills just to make it a bit faster. So really, it's not really that hard, to be quite honest. Saradomin's fairly easy to solo or duo. In a duo, you will have no problem whatsoever in Ganodermic or higher. And you don't even need Soul Split for that either. You can just put on Piety and those kind of prayers. Within a solo, you always want to keep your prayer up, and you've got to pray Soul Split and Turmoil, but other than that, it's not too hard at all. If you got a bunyip, then don't really have to worry about that. It will heal you over time. If you have a unicorn, then you won't have to use it too much, but if you do, just use the scrolls. Obviously it would probably help if you put the special on your left click option for the familiar, and also you have that summoning pot there in case you need it, so you can just drink a couple of doses of that and then use some more scrolls. So that is basically all you need to know. You can just watch the clips and see how we do Saradomin. One thing to note is I would stand in this corner where I am standing in the video, as this is the best spot where you can lure all of the creatures at once.
So yeah guys, that is basically our Saradomin guide to killing the Commander Ziliana, and yeah, pretty much thanks for watching, and don't forget to give us a like, because this does take a long time to make, and it is extremely fun to make as well. So we will hopefully be making more in the future. We want to make some Corp ones and other Godwars dungeon guides, and yeah, that is the end of our guide.
Yeah, so subscribe for more, and good luck at Saradomin.
Yeah, good luck guys.
See ya.